What is up, dudes? Lady dudes, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I'm doing a little hype video, little personalized hype video. So I don't really do a lot of the personalized things. I do things talking about the generalness of the community. But for this, I did want to do a quick video about the top 5 cards that I am personally most excited for coming in dual power. This is an extremely hyped set. There's a lot of really cool new cards as well as a ton of insanely good reprints. This is mostly going to be new cards, and honestly, this isn't even like taking away from what the hell?
Meds.
Your phone ever do that thing where it starts talking like a robot out of nowhere? Wow, that's weird. But anyway, yeah, it's not. I don't really diverge off the path. It's just honestly, the newer cards interest me more than the reprints do because I have most of the cards that the reprints are for anyway. I think it's cool that we're still getting them for people who do still want them and at a better price, generally for everybody who plays the game. But for me personally, the 5 cards I'm most excited for are not really reprints. I put in permanents here, but it's like right there just because this is the only card. This is is it the only card? I think I'm trying to get card demise, but other than that, impermanence is like the only reprint that I'm like super pumped for because the price like almost got cut in half almost immediately and we're still on pre-sales. So just want to throw it out there. Really hyped for Infinite Impermanence, but it's not in my top 5. It's just outside. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So the first card I have here is Double Bite Dragon. This one, while it's not super meta, I think it's actually really cheesy for decks that can span the board a little bit and have their own link monsters to be able to make this thing. This thing's like a boss monster all on its own. Like if you just like try and think about like how like a deck like True Draco or Subterror Guru, how those decks even try to out this thing, because I believe he can't be destroyed by battle except by a link monster. He's unaffected by monster effects except for link monster effects, I believe. So if they don't have like built-in removal that's not monsters, like how do they beat this thing if they don't use link monsters? So I think this is a spicy niche card that, depending on the meta and depending on what decks would ever rise up, this card could come out of nowhere, and this card gets beefy too. If you use like a Link 2 and a Link 1 to make this, you literally have him at what, 2400, can't be destroyed by battle unless it's a Link monster, can't be affected by monster effects unless it's Link monsters. And then this card's looking kind of interesting against the right kind of deck. So I just think he's cool. I love his design. I think his effects are well written, and he's only a Link 2, so he's just cool. He's just cool more than anything. Then I have Beat Cop from the Underworld as my number 4, I guess you'd call it. I did put these semi in order here. This card is not good. I want to preface that. The only thing I'm really interested in with this card specifically is that I actually play Lair of Darkness, so this card, Lair of Darkness, is one of the very few decks where this card has like specifically good value in. So Lair of Darkness, if you don't know, it's based on tributing. So if you have the field spell, Lair of Darkness up, it says if you would tribute a monster, you can tribute your opponent's monster as cost, or instead of your own. And this card, if it's summoned with 2 dark monsters, which is super stupid easy in Lair of Darkness, then it gains this following effect where you contribute 1 monster to target a face-up card on the field, put a counter on it, and then that card, if it ever would be destroyed, you destroy the counter instead. So you get an extra life on something while also tributing your opponent's monster. So Lair of Darkness summons tokens. You can take the tokens into this thing and then use this to tribute off your opponent's monster. So it gives you, like, if you don't have access to like Lilith or any of the other like regular monsters in your deck, you can go into this thing with like not just tokens, but you do, if you have a layer, you can do like a token and Link Spider to go into this thing and then wreck shop from there. So this card is like, Lair of Darkness is one of the very few decks that this card actually has synergy with, so I thought that was cool. Then number 3, I have Security Dragon. This one is we're actually getting into more relevant cards in terms of like new, like possibly good cards. Security Dragon, really cool generic card. It just says if it's co-linked, so it points up and down. So as long as something is pointing down to it while it's pointing up to them, or while he's pointing down something while they're pointing back up to him, he gets this once per turn effect. Is it once per turn or once while he's on the field? I don't remember that, but he just says like target and bounce one monster on the field. Just really quick, done removal. If you, I don't know, I play decks, I play a lot of control decks. I don't put a lot of monsters on the field, so I play stuff like Scapegoat and stuff. This card is just generically like better than Cerberus, so I don't know, I just think it's a nice little piece. I like him a lot. His design's cool. I don't know. he's not anything crazy, but I do think he does have another niche. He's just another cool, good generic Link monster, but not too busted. My number 2 spot goes to 2 different cards. I don't have the picture of Righty Driver. I went to get it and it like was messed up, whatever. But you should know what these are. These are kind of like smaller machine equivalents of like Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyverburster. They're very kind of similar in the way they work. It's like one on normal summon can special the other one straight from the deck, and then one's a tuner. I think righty is a tuner, or maybe lefty's the tuner. I can't remember. One of them is a tuner, and like literally they just cycle. They say like the turn, except the turn this card is like sent to grave or something, you can banish it to add another one. So like literally every turn they're literally just like bing, 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 bing. You're just special summoning 2 monsters for like your normal summon every turn, which is really cool. I just like that they're like such a small package, but they provide you so much like stability. Like that, like not only getting you the +1, but also kind of being like a +2 in a sense, because it just gets you the other one to set up for next turn, which is really, really cool. So I like them a lot. I just like the way they work. I think Black Dragon and White Dragon are both very good as well. We'll see if they ever get ban list touched or anything coming up, but I think these guys are similar and not as strong, so they don't help you OTK as hard, which is cool. But good, really good Link monsters. And then probably my number 1 slot, the number 1 card I'm most excited for out of this whole set, it's probably Aromatherapy Jasmine. I don't specifically play plants, but I do have a friend that has not always been the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh player, but he's just very into plants in real life, and so I've always messed around with plant decks just to try and find him something that at least he can connect with. So if he ever does end up dueling with me and my friends who do duel, he has something that he at least feels connected to, and maybe it would give him a little more motivation to actually learn the deck a little more, but I try not to pressure him too much for it. But yeah, this card is huge for plants. There are no specific plant archetypes that are like too insanely good right now. Like you look at like what used to exist, which is like Sylvans used to be like the best deck in the game, but they fell off hard. They relied too much on like random excavations and stuff, which is never good for consistency and having a powerful deck. But they're interesting. They have some power plays, but they're just not strong enough and consistent enough, I would say. Maybe at some point we'll get some other Arrow Mage support enough, because they do have some interesting pieces there. I think Rosemary and Jasmine are kind of interesting. The field spell is not bad at all either. They have cards that can plus them, and this card specifically can plus them a ton. There's generically good plant support like Mark of the Rose. There's Miracle Fertilizer. So there are cards. Glow Up Bulb. What's the one? The little white ball that revives itself from grave by banishing a plant. Don't remember the name of him, but he's cool too. There's just a lot of like generically good plant cards out there, and they just need one plant archetype to really help this thing become really relevant. But I'm just excited to see the future of this card. I think it's really, really good, but it also has some things that hold it back a little bit, like relying on life points and relying on stuff to trigger it. But put it surround it with the right archetype and support, this card can do a lot of damage. So really pumped for it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the top 5 cards I'm excited for: Aroma Seraphie Jasmine, Righty and Lefty Driver, Security Dragon, Beat Cop from the Underworld, and Double Bite Dragon. I'm sure this is very different from what a lot of people are most excited for from the set, but hey, that's just me. Let me know if you guys want me to do this more in the future. I'm really actually curious because I like doing this. I just didn't know if anybody cared. If this does well, I can start doing this every time a kind of set comes out. I can do like a, hey, listen, if you care, these are the 5 to 10 cards, if there's that many I'm really interested in, that I specifically, me personally, are the most interested in out of the whole set. But if not, no big deal. If so, let me know. Cool. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe for more stuff from me in the future, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.